Jaat is a noisy, gory, exhausting celebration of Sunny Deol and his favorite weapon, the 2.5 kilo ka haath.
कौन है बे तू? मैं जाट हूं।
The good news is that even at 67, the National Award-winning actor is wholly convincing as a one-man avenging angel. When he solemnly delivers sermons on what it means to be a Jaat, a true patriot and a son of the soil, we believe him. He's played versions of this character in many films before, most memorably and most successfully in the Gadar franchise, and both he and we know the drill. Sunny first delivered the iconic line about his formidable haath in Damini, which released 32 years ago. And it still lands. At one point in Jaat, he says, "Ye 2.5 kilo ke haath ki taakat pura north dekh chuka hai, ab south dekhega." The not so good news is that director Gopichand Malineni, best known for Telugu films such as Veera Simha Reddy and Don Sinu, places Sunny's larger-than-life persona in a story that is clichéd and generic, but also determined to push buttons. So everything is exaggerated, and Thaman S's blaring background score inflates the proceedings further. Case in point, the bad guy Ranatunga, played with relish by Randeep Hooda. He is a sadistic butcher. This film is brimming with body parts, including severed thumbs and heads and bodies that have been separated from each other. There is this extended sequence in which we see Ranatunga, his wife and his bestie beheading 10 men. Gopichand stages this with skill and shock, alternating the victim's mounting desperation with horrific violence. This is a director deeply invested in elevating his hero, but also his villain. Both Sunny and Randeep get ample opportunity to strut and pose. Low angles establish their supremacy and each one gets thunderous lines. In one scene, Ranatunga, who has come from Sri Lanka and established his rule over 40 villages in Andhra Pradesh, says, "Yahan ka suraj bhi mujhse garmi mangta hai." Ranatunga is set up as the Ravana figure, while Sunny's lone drifter, who becomes the savior, is of course Lord Ram. In one scene, he says, "Jab main marna shuru karta hu, na ginta hu, na sunta hu." The dialogue has been written by Saurabh Gupta and Sai Madhav Bura. In the first half, Gopichand manages a few inventive flourishes, including starting the film with the origin story of Ranatunga. But post-interval, the narrative loses focus and any semblance of logic. One scene is set in Davos. A CBI head and a minister have a critical meeting by the roadside while they sip coconut water. Meanwhile, Regina Cassandra, as Ranatunga's wife Bharati, establishes that women can be just as nasty as men. Her character seems to be as fond of decapitation as he is. I wondered if that sequence in which they slice off heads together counted as date night. This film is 153 minutes long, and eventually all the bloodshed, the chest thumping and the over-the-top machismo starts to weigh you down. There are so many sequences of men attacking each other that I started to wish that at least a few of them had brought guns to the fight so we could all get done quickly. Gopichand, who's also written the story and screenplay, seems keen to lean into woman empowerment. The president is female, as are several police officers, including one played by Sayami Kher. But they get very little to do. Sayami spends most of the first half locked in a room in her undergarments. In another scene as well, a young girl is stripped in public. This is supposed to illustrate the depravity of the men, but it just comes off as lazy because it reduces the women to props who are part of the scenery only to further the action or to make the hero more heroic. Gopichand has a flair for visuals. His frames are filled with colors and slow motion, but all that sound and fury he conjures up eventually signifies little, because even the 2.5 kilo ka haath needs to be embedded in a much more absorbing story. For more reviews like this, do subscribe to The Hollywood Reporter India.